Alright, you should have done this already. Mulling binomials, a little review from last chapter. Foil or box, whichever you choose. X times x is x squared. X times 4 is 4x. 3 times x is 3x. And then the last 3 times 4 is 12. We combine like terms, we would get x squared plus 7x plus 12. And the second one, firsts, x times x is x squared. The outers, 1 times x is plus 1x. Insides, negative 7 times x is negative 7x. And last, negative 7 times 1 is negative 7. Combine these two, you get x squared minus 6x minus 7. Now, what we're going to do today is work backwards. We're going to start with the trinomial and figure out what is that in factored form. So we would start with the x squared minus 6x minus 7 and figure out what is that in factored form. Okay, so we're going from this step to this step today. Now, looking at some comparisons, what do you notice here? You have a 7 and you have 12. How do you get those numbers from 3 and 4? You can see that if you add 3 and 4, you get the 7. If you multiply 3 times 4, you get the 12. In this example, you have negative 7 and 1. If you add them, negative 7 plus 1, that's negative 6. Negative 7 times 1, that is negative 7. So, looking ahead, when we factor, we're going to look for what pair of numbers multiply to give you the value for C and add to give you the value of B, knowing that it is x squared plus bx plus c. So with 12, x squared plus 7x plus 12, what can we multiply to get 12? Well, if you look at that, positive 12, you could do 1 times 12, negative 1 times negative 12, 2 times 6, or negative 2 times negative 6, 3 times 4, or negative 3 times negative 4. Those are all the pairs that multiply to give you 12. Which one of those add to give me 7? 3 and 4. Which means 3 and 4 would be our numbers. We would write that as x plus 3 times x plus 4. So, now going on. I'm just going to do a couple examples with you, okay? This one we have x squared plus 9x plus 20. We have to multiply to get 20, add to get 9. So let's look at the factors of 20. You can multiply 1 times 20, or negative 1 times negative 20. 2 times 10, negative 2 times negative 10. 4 times 5, or negative 4 times negative 5. Which one of those add up to get 9? 4 and 5. So it would be x plus 4, x plus 5. And that's it. Okay, factoring really isn't that bad. It's just a matter of finding out your factors and then seeing which add to give you the negative 8. And you're going to look for factors of 20. In this case, negative 20. So here we go. To the right, factors of negative 20. Negative 1 times 20, or 1 times negative 20. Negative 2 times 10, or 2 times negative 10. Negative 4 times 5, or 4 times negative 5. Which one of those add to give you a negative 8? 2 and negative 10. That adds to give you a negative 8, multiplies to give you negative 20. So x plus 2, x minus 10. No, it does not matter which order you put that in. X minus 10 times x plus 2 is the same thing. Okay, so let's look at a couple more examples. What can we multiply to get 10 and add to get negative 7? So multiply to get 10. 1 times 10, 2 times 5, negative 1 times negative 10, or negative 2 times negative 5. Which one of the sets adds to give you negative 7? Negative 2, negative 5. So x minus 2, x minus 5. And finally, x squared plus 5x minus 24. What can we multiply to get negative 24? And remember, you do look at the sign in front, so it's a negative 24, and add to give us 5. So multiply to get negative 24. 1 and negative 24, 24 and negative 1. 2 and negative 12, negative 2 and 12. 3 and negative 8, negative 3 and 8. 4 and negative 6, negative 4 and 6. And that's it. So now what adds to give us a 5? That would be negative 3 plus 8. Okay, so when we do that one, x minus 3, x plus 8. And that is how you factor. Okay, again, when you have x squared plus bx plus c, we want to multiply two numbers that multiply to get c, that add to give us b. And that's how you do it. You now have some you try. Do those on your note sheet, and we'll look at those in class. And are those the same? That would be the same. I copied the slide, so there we go. We're all set. You have your you try problems. We'll go over those in class and practice some more.